many believed couldn't be done. And Sean O'Malley is still the UFC bantamweight champion after a fantastic performance. Dustin Poirier, also fantastic performance. More on that in a little bit, but thank you for joining us here on the UFC 299 post-fight show. I am Mike Heck. We are joined by Mr. No Gray Area himself, Jed Meshew. Where is he? There he is.
I'm right here.
Live up to the 3 stars, Jed.
It did. That you see that check mark that's right there? Delivered.
That's it.
I mean, delivered. Because I thought, and we're going to talk all about it, but I thought that there was a chance that maybe the main event wouldn't be the most fun. And so even if the whole card was great, we might end on a little bit of a downer. Nope. Main event was great. Whole card top to bottom was great. Sick fights, sick outcomes, great storylines. Had a wonderful time, fellas. Excited to talk with you about it. Let's go.
And also joining us, didn't think we were going to have this, but what a surprise. New York Rick tagging in on short notice, delivering
Hot tag.
like he always does. New York Rick, how are you?
Thrilled to be here. Pumped up after what was a card that on paper looked like one of the best of the year and then delivered. I'm excited to talk some MMA.
All right, well, let's get right into it. Let's get right into what Jed put over big, the main event. Sean O'Malley just gives Marlon Vera the business. 50-45, 50-45, 50-44. I mean, Jed, there were a lot of questions heading into this fight. We knew Sean could have a performance like that, but would he have the wherewithal, the discipline to go out there and fight Marlon Vera almost perfectly? And boy, did he tonight. What a performance. This fight was not all that competitive. Marlon Vera did very little damage to Sean O'Malley. There were certain points where he would land like a decent shot and get Sean's attention. And then the best shot Marlon landed was like with one or 2 seconds left in the fight when he ripped him to the body. But at that point, it was just too little too late. Your reaction to what Sean O'Malley did tonight, sweeping the cards against a really tough son of a bitch in Marlon Vera?
First, I would say that it was competitive, but that it wasn't close. Like very clearly, that's a 50-45. I don't have a huge issue with 50-44. They're doing it in the 5th round seems weird. But I mean that was a masterclass, and we talked about it on the preview show. You asked, "Hey, what's your biggest question coming into this?" And I had 2 questions, and it was one for each of them. And the one for O'Malley is he going to fight smart? There is a clear path forward for him to approach this fight. Is he going to take that path, or is he going to buy into the I'm going to knock Cheeto out thing? I'm going to do this. Nobody's ever done it. I'm going to be the guy. And then down that path lay damnation. That's how he can lose this fight is thinking that and pursuing it to his own detriment. And he didn't. He fought a brilliant fight. It was, you said discipline, and I think that is the best word, but it's more than that too, because it was not just the discipline of it. That is the most impressive part. The fact that he came in with a great game plan, executed it brilliantly, and never really deviated. But he also showed me stuff beyond that, because when we were talking pre-fight, it was, how can he be super impressive? And I was like, well, I mean, obviously we knocked out Cheeto, but I don't think that's possible. And we learned that that's true. It's just not possible to do that to Cheeto, apparently. But he can have a really disciplined performance, and he did that. But beyond that, he also showed a ton more toughness than we've really had to seen him display before. I mean, there were moments of it in the Yan fight, but you said Cheeto didn't really hit him all that hard. I would disagree. I don't think Cheeto hit him that often, but there were several moments when Cheeto finally got one shot in, and Sean ate it, reset, and was like, hey, we're not going to do this anymore. But he was never scared of Cheeto. He was never concerned about what came back. He was respectful of it, but clearly showed an ability to sort of dig deep in moments when Cheeto did start having success at various points. Sean did not just run away until Cheeto got tired. Sean sat in the pocket and fired back and was like, bro, back the fuck up off me. It was a disciplined performance. It was a beautiful performance. It was a much more rugged performance in spaces than I think he'll get credit for, because we are all fascinated with the prettiness of it. But it was a total performance and showed that he is still developing, still improving, and legitimately, like him or not, like one of the best fighters in the world, and certainly one of, if not the best fighter in this weight class.
What was your grade, your reaction, your big takeaways from what Sean O'Malley did tonight? New York Rick.
Yeah, it's hard to give him anything but an A+, because I do think Cheeto Vera was a game opponent. As I said on various shows heading into this, I thought the betting line was a little bit off, and I thought Cheeto Vera was a decent style matchup for Sean O'Malley. And Sean O'Malley proved that he really wasn't. Like, Sean O'Malley was just on his game, was able to execute a game plan that we hadn't been able to, like, we haven't seen him in championship rounds, and now we've seen him in championship rounds, and he looked fine. He looked good. He looked sharp. He looked fast against a guy who I think is one of those fighters who's dangerous in round 5, which you can't say about a lot of guys, especially when they've eaten the volume of shots that Sean O'Malley put on them. Most of the time, guys who get hit that many times are fading. Most of the time, those guys are no longer dangerous, and most of the time, they kind of get out of there. Sean O'Malley hit Cheeto Vera with a knee that would have decapitated most people on planet Earth, and Marlon looked like, he sneezed maybe a little bit intensely. So yeah, I was impressed with what O'Malley was able to do and the pace he was able to keep and his commitment to the game plan. And yeah, I don't necessarily think that he needed a finish here to impress. So I was quite impressed.
Yeah, never seen Vera stung like that. Never seen Vera's face look like that after a fight.
I've never seen Vera look like that, dude. Like, Vera's face was not his face in that post-fight interview. Like, that was rugged, man. It was rugged.
It really was. What a performance from Sean. And I mean, it was just kind of enjoyable to watch. Like, you see the evolution of his game, with each of these fights, and I think that's exactly what he needed to do. And yeah, Marlon did hit him at certain points, but like you said, Jed, he was able to bounce back. But I think one of the other big storylines was, like, what was Sean going to do when he had a live microphone in his face? Because for a while it was, hey, I'm going to go fight Ryan Garcia in the boxing ring. Oh no, I'm going to go fight Ilia Topuria. And then he said, you know what? People are mad at that, so I'm just going to call it Merab. Like, Merab is next. That's what we're doing. And what does he do, Jed Meshew? Live microphone, Joe Rogan, 50-44, calls out Ilia Topuria. I'm ready to go to Spain. Let's party. Let's rock. If you need me to go knock out Merab, like, I guess I will, but I want to go to Spain and fight Ilia Topuria. Your thoughts on this? You said if he had a certain type of performance, if he went out there and knocked out Cheeto Vera and delivered a highlight reel, you would not be thrilled with it, but you would understand it more. Did this performance and that call out, do you understand it? Does it make sense to you? What do you think?
It's just on the line of me not bitching about it because it's bad. And the way he did it is partly why it's annoying. Because I say it all the time, Mike, it's one of my favorite phrases. If you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. If you're going to pursue Topuria, just say that. Don't do the cop out. I guess I'll fight Merab. No, call your shot, live your shot, speak your truth, and own it. And if they make you fight one, then that's fine. You can fight him, but don't justify it afterwards. Like, just own it. It is not a bad call out because the sheer amount of responses I saw on social media from people in this industry who I know and respect, who gave it credence, by definition means it's not a failed call out, because there was not an overwhelming backlash from smart people of, dude, buck on this Duchamp things. Like, you need to fight Merab. There was certainly some of that, but there were just as many people being like, it'd be a little too soon and I wish not, but I get it. That's a huge fight. And so it's not an unreasonable thing for him to do. I don't think it will happen. And that remains my primary issue is I believe that it's going to be Merab. I think that he knows that it's going to be Merab. And he said that he will fight Merab, and credit to him for that. But if you know that the fight is going to happen, it's probably better to just commit to that and start building the fight that is likely for you. That being said, I do like the way he called out Topuria. Like, I think that that's a good way to do it. It's like, hey, Dana, I'll fly to Spain. Like, buy me a ticket to Spain. Let's go do this thing, and mic drop. So it's a mixed bag. It's reasonable. I still don't like it. I don't think they're going to go that way. He could have done better, but it's not all. Like, it's not objectively bad mic work. It's just not my favorite. Not to my taste.
I honestly did not hear anything Dana White had to say tonight because I was just doing a million other things. I was trying to get back here, so I'm sure he was asked about the call up.
It's not Tuesday. It's not Tuesday, Mike.
He was asked about it
until Tuesday.
He was asked about it and did not seem interested. Quite quickly said he does not think that Sean O'Malley moving up is like the next move. Pretty plainly.
Okay, so you feel like we're gonna get Sean O'Malley versus Rob Welsh really next New York Rick, and
well, based on Dana's
forward.
comments, yeah, but also based on the fact that like it seems like Sean O'Malley knows that as well. Like I have to imagine if we were building toward Ilia Topuria versus Sean O'Malley, the UFC and Sean O'Malley would have had a plan kind of discussed. Hey, what happens when we win this fight? Are we going in that direction? Because if they were, you could do worse business than that, right? Like I think we can all acknowledge that that's a fight that I think a lot of people would pay for. So I have to imagine that he's not getting the vibes from the UFC. Dana White comes to the press conference and seems to not be giving the vibes. And Sean O'Malley himself kind of hedges and says like, I want that, but if it's Merab, it's Merab. I think everybody involved kind of knows that it's going to be Merab. Could circumstances change quickly? And as they do in this sport, definitely. If all of a sudden, and Dana White was also asked about Spain and said there was no update. If all of a sudden they've got an arena booked in Spain and they're looking for something and Sean O'Malley is the best option for Ilia Topuria at that moment, I could see a world where plans shift. But sitting here right now, post 299, it does not seem like that's going to be the fight. Although I would like Jed, I'm not going to gripe too much about that fight if it happens. But I would prefer to see Merab.
I've changed my mind. I'll gripe mainly just because of the timing. Because if they're doing it in Spain, it's not going to happen forever, and that's shelving 2 of the 3 best weight classes or 4 best weight classes in the sport for 8
interim titles, baby. Roll them out. Let's go.
Let's not. What if we don't? What if we've done enough of that? What if we
nice.
just have champion? What if we just have champions defend their titles against credible contenders? That'd be terrific, right?
What sport is this again? Is this what world is that?
Also, I'd be a lot more interested, or like I'd be not a lot more. I'd be more accepting of it, except for the fact that like this is an incredible performance from O'Malley. I'm taking nothing away. I still think Topuria kills him. So like we should just not do this yet.
I didn't think that going in, but maybe this will come up later. Maybe I should save it, but I'll just say it now. I saw vulnerability. Like I was impressed with the performance, but I definitely saw if Cheeto had stepped on the gas a little bit more at times where O'Malley was crowded and somebody like Ilia Topuria could do that. I saw some moments of vulnerability and it made me shift my opinion a little bit that I do think Ilia might be a load for Sean O'Malley to handle.
I just think Ilia kills like everybody within a general weight class of him that's not like 3 dudes at lightweight that I don't think he would kill, and that's it.
He's also just such a far superior grappler. Like he's an
enormously superior grappler, and he is not a small man. Like Sean O'Malley is a big 135er.
I think
he will not be big. He'll be
no,
long.
I think he'd be long at featherweight. I think he'd still have some real physical gifts and be able to put on some muscle and not drain himself in a cut. So there is some intrigue to me with that fight. I can't deny. I can't lie.
If he's going to put on muscle, great. But then that means he's not coming to 135. And that's okay. If he wants to move up to 145, I'm open. Very open to that.
Yeah. Anyway, derailed. But yeah, I was more confident on O'Malley side, and then I saw this fight and thought impressive performance. Cheeto's a tough out, but I saw some things that I do think somebody like Ilia Topuria, who is an apex predator, would be able to take advantage of.
Plus, it would just be sick to have that fight in like a year, 2 years, like let him get a couple defenses under the belt. Because Mike, you haven't asked this question, but I'm just going to take us right there. This fight makes me think Sean O'Malley has a legitimately real chance to beat Merab. A month ago, I did not believe that. I was like, yeah, no, Merab's just going to run over whoever it is because he cannot be stopped. I firmly believe that. I don't know that I would pick him yet. I want to take a little more time and digest, but this is a type of performance, even though it's against a guy who is limited and does not fight at all like Merab. It was so impressive. He continues to accelerate his growth on a good timeline. And I'm like, okay, he really can beat Merab. And then if he beats Merab, maybe he fights Corey Sandhagen. He beats Corey Sandhagen. I'm a little more open to now seeing that fight, assuming Poirier still has the belt. That fight is bigger. That fight is way more meaningful than this ramshackle sort of thing that he's trying to put together at this moment.
Yeah, the Rob fight is much more interesting now than I think most people thought it would be like a year ago. Like it's like night and day, 1,000%. And I'm pretty sure that's the next fight we're going to see as well. But as great as this performance was, Jessica shouting on New York Rick, it sort of pales in the storyline comparison to what Dustin Poirier did tonight, New York Rick, taking on the thunderous Benoit Saint-Denis, who was just a killer out there in that first round, just kind of bullying around Dustin Poirier. Dustin was having moments, jumped Gilly multiple times. We're getting flashes of the old DP, jumped like 8 Gilly attempts in round 1, another 12 in round 2. But then when it mattered most, when the hands started flying, the rawness of Benoit Saint-Denis appeared. The defensive vulnerabilities appeared that we knew were kind of there, but he was just so tough for his own good. Poirier lands the big shot. BSD hits the canvas real hard and then lands just maybe the most violent follow-up knockout shot you'll see at 155 all year. Dustin Poirier, as Dana White said, the one thing I saw just because of the clip that was on MMA Fighting, it's the stuff that makes you a freaking legend, does it not, New York Rick? What a performance from DP. Your reaction?
I think it just adds to the legend status, right? I think Dustin Poirier is one of those guys that will likely go down, unless I'm mistaken, will likely go down as like the best to never hold an undisputed title. And along the way of that career, along the way of chasing that greatness and not quite grasping the undisputed title, capturing an interim title, but also putting on some of the most exciting fights we've ever seen in the UFC or in MMA or in combat sports, and just having a highlight reel that is going to be one of the best ever, like just an insane body of work. So yeah, I think he's just at this point, like the legend status, the effing legend status is like so cemented that it's almost like you don't even have to address it, but he continues to kind of add to it every single time. As far as the matchup itself, like shout out to Jose Youngs, who saw this plain as day coming and just basically boiled it down to the age old, like Dustin Poirier is going to throw straight and Benoit is going to throw hooks and he's going to be faster to it. And he threw straight and landed while Benoit was swinging kind of wildly. They both also kind of seemed pretty beaten up and slower by the time the finish came in that second round. It seemed like it had taken something out of them. The exchanges in the first, and certainly Benoit doing the better kind of work there and controlling Poirier, but I think Poirier was crafty enough to kind of keep himself safe. But they both seemed like they were slowing, and at that point it just became a slop fest. And when Benoit's winging that, Dustin's going to be able to take advantage of it. He was the superior technician coming in. I don't think there was any surprise about that. I don't think there's even a surprise about the way it kind of happened. But it did look early like Benoit was going to do what Benoit does, which is just be a bull, just be a tank and come forward and overwhelm Dustin. But Dustin did what Dustin does, which is survive that. And then kind of, even in what he's always been good at, that you don't see a lot, is in the moments of the chaos, he's still able to keep his composure and throw back, not just like throw back shots to push people away, but throw back like fight ending shots, which is a true skill, like something that he obviously is adept at and makes him one of the warriors that we love. But yeah, I mean, I've spoken enough. Dustin Poirier is the freaking man. Like, I love him to death, and I hope he does this forever.
What a turn of events in round 2 from round 1, Jed. I mean, I think we knew Dustin would face some adversity. I thought Benoit Saint-Denis was going to rip Dustin Poirier's arm off of his body at the end of that first round. That looked real nasty. But then Poirier was able to kind of like squirrel his way out of it and then just kind of gave the thumbs up, like, give the Dikembe finger wag. But I really thought like he was about to take his arm home with him. But Poirier survives, advances, and then delivers another. Again, we're in March and we already have like another KO of the year candidate. This one coming from Dustin Poirier. The man delivered, Jed, yet again.
It was awesome. Go back to when this fight was announced and we did a react. And my initial answer was Dustin Poirier is a crazy person for taking this fight. And then I was like, but then I thought about it, and it's actually brilliant of him because he can win this fight. for all the reasons that all of us kind of realize, like, oh, BSD is good. He's still very raw. He is 4 or 5 years into his MMA career, which is incredibly impressive when you put it in those terms of where he's at and what he did to Poirier in that first round. But he still makes a ton of mistakes. Poirier is very clean. It was great because everyone was right in that fight. The people who thought Poirier were going to get knocked out were incorrect, but everybody else was correct because that was both sides of the fight I thought could happen. I just didn't anticipate it to be that way where both men got to do the thing. It's like, yeah, Benoit Saint-Denis is a tank. He can eat a ton of shots, and he did. He ate hammers in the first round and was just like, whatever, I'm just going to keep charging forward. Somebody put up a stat on Twitter, and I didn't look at, like, I don't remember who it is, so sorry about this. I'm really bad at this. I should be better at it. Where it's like, yeah, Poirier connected on like 80% of his power shots in the fight because BSD has no defense. And to his credit, I would think that I wouldn't need it either. Because if you watch the hellacious beating that Zaleski dos Santos put on him up at welterweight, if I'm him and I survive that, I'd be like, yeah, I can't be killed. Frankly, Marlon Vera should have had a little bit more BSD in him in that main event. Might have done a little better. It was like, I can't be killed. I'm going to walk into your biggest punches and just hunt you down. He did that, and then he was dominating the grappling because Poirier kept jumping the guillotines. And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly the things I feared for Poirier. I have a bet on Poirier. He can win if he just stops doing the dumb thing, but he's a meme fighter in a lot of ways. That's great. And then the second round, it was like, oh, here's how Poirier can win, doing these things. So everyone was right. The fight was unbelievable. It's probably your fight of the year right now. Maybe it's not. I mean, there have been some decent ones, but it lived up to the hype in so many ways. And we got the outcome most people wanted. BSD's young, very early in his career. He's still got time to come back up the lightweight division. He is going to be popular because of the way he fights. And I've spent all week comping him to young Justin Gaethje. Guess what? The Poirier fight and the Eddie Alvarez fights are what got young Justin Gaethje to learn how to defend himself and become who he is now. The same thing will happen with BSD. He's now been gotten. He now knows, okay, I can't just hoss everyone. I'm going to have to develop a little bit more. He'll be back. And Poirier's right here. Mike, we talked about it a lot this week. We're doing on to the next one, so I don't want you to give anything away. I don't mind giving this away. I believe that Dustin Poirier, aside from punching his ticket into our hearts and chests, and we love him so much, I think he's getting a title shot. And that's not going to go well. Islam's going to kill him. But the timeline it lines up the best for him. I thought that there was a chance Mateusz Gamrot could get it. If we do talk about that fight, I loved it, but it's not a fight that Mateusz Gamrot gets a title shot off of. Poirier is beloved. Poirier is one of the biggest stars in the company, and the guys fighting at 300 are not going to be able to turn around in 6-7 weeks to fight Islam in June. Poirier comes out of this pretty clean, should have time to recover, and then get back into camp and get one more crack at undisputed gold, which is the thing he wants. So, I mean, he is the biggest story out of this, despite the fact that Sean O'Malley had the best performance of his career in the main event.
Oh, Dustin's the guy. If there's like a tier, if there's like an MVP
so
of the card, it's Dustin Poirier. Without a doubt.
He's legitimately like the third biggest star in the UFC.
Yeah.
If you count Conor as one still. Like it's unclear if Conor still should count. If not, he's higher.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that, but he's one of their guys for sure.
Who would you put over him? I'd put Conor and
John, Islam,
maybe Islam, and maybe to
Poirier. I don't think Islam's a maybe. I think Islam's a pretty and I think Alex Pereira is a maybe. I think
Alex Pereira is having a moment and great. Okay, I'll accept Islam. I just looked. Islam has 8 million Instagram followers.
Islam's a yeah. Islam's like a no doubter.
Islam's a yeah. Islam's a yeah. I'm not confident I accept Pereira. Pereira is just beloved now.
Sean O'Malley. I mean, Sean O'Malley's
I do not believe Sean
headline card that Dustin is on the billing. Like, I think that pretty obviously
because he has a
pecking order.
That's because he has a belt. That is not stardom. I'm firmly of the camp that Sean O'Malley is popular. Sean O'Malley is not quite the
So what are we measuring stardom then if it's not popularity?
The ability to draw pay-per-view buys.
I've long been a proponent that Instagram followers are not a pay-per-view metric. I don't think don't think Dustin is like that guy, unless
I
it's
don't.
Conor McGregor.
I don't think Sean is either.
I
We
agree
won't
with you.
know, but like
I agree with you.
I think Sean will surpass Dustin probably because he's just getting here basically. But I would say that Poirier is a top 5 star in the company, and so they're gonna let him fight Islam because why not? Sure,
I
he doesn't
love him to
deserve it,
death.
but
I don't agree
Gaethje's
with this,
fighting Max.
but I'm not going to push back anymore because I love him. So I will let you.
Yeah.
I'll let you continue.
He wasn't fighting Max. This wouldn't be a question. But Gaethje and Max are gonna beat 7 shades of shit out of each other at 300. They're not turning around to fight in June. Maybe if Sarukian just dummies Oliveira. But even then, if your choices are Sarukian, who is good, or Dustin friggin' Poirier, I think they're going Dustin, man. Islam knows ball too. Islam knows what he's doing. Islam tweeting afterwards to DP being like, hey, impressive performance. Islam knows ball. He knows what's up.
I think we're all on the same page here. It's going to be Dustin and Islam, no doubt.
It's great.
Yeah, if Islam is fighting in June, Dustin's in the driver's seat.
It's going to be awesome.
All right. But what a performance from DP and tremendous stuff. We'll take some fan questions, but I do want to touch on what we saw in the featured bout. New York Rick, I'll begin with you. Michael Venom Page makes his UFC debut. A lot of intrigue surrounding this fight. Takes on Kevin Holland. I think this is perfect matchmaking, perfect introduction. And you could say a lot of things about Kevin Holland and his fighting style, but it's very rare you see Kevin Holland like completely flustered and frustrated. And MVP left him like that for like the entire second half of the fight. Never see that look in Kevin Holland's eyes. Even when Wonder Boy was kind of beating him up and he had a broken hand, Holland was still having a good time out there, still trying to show some shades of positivity. MVP left him with none, and MVP hit him with some big shots and goes and wins the 29-28 decision. So we've been waiting like 7 or 8 years for MVP to make his UFC debut. Now that he's had it, how do you grade it?
A B. I think he did what he needed to do. People's octagon debuts are often not like great. There's, octagon jitters is a thing. He mentioned like in his post fight, he didn't quite say octagon, even though he was asked about that terminology. He said, I didn't feel like myself. I wasn't in my rhythm. And it looked that way, right? Like it looked like in the flashes of brilliance that he did have, that was the MVP that we've seen before. But then there were moments of kind of just not looking right and kind of sitting back and waiting for things that weren't happening. But I'm not going to grade too harshly. First fight in the UFC, Kevin Holland, a ranked fighter, did enough by far to get the win, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, B seems right for MVP. I wasn't like disappointed with the performance. I also never thought like MVP was going to come in and be a world beater. So I guess that kind of like tempers my expectations. Like I thought he's going to be a guy who comes into this division, is going to be competitive with some of the top guys as long as they're willing to strike with him. And he'll have some fun moments. And I think that this fight delivered those moments in spurts and was good enough. So yeah, B for MVP.
What's your grade, Jed? I would have given him an A until I found out that just a ton of people hate the shit out of him. Like, I know that there's like a little cult of MMA weirdos who I'm among who are like, he's never fought anybody good and he's a bum. And like a lot of that's true. He really has not fought good opposition. The best dude he ever fought killed him. But he's fought fine people, and mostly he's styled on bad people, which is what you would like to see people do. But the reaction afterwards, like from other fighters, it feels so ingrained of like Bellator fighters suck. He beat the shit out of Kevin Holland tonight. Like it wasn't perfect, and he acknowledged that there, like Rick said, he had some issues, wasn't quite there. But like Kevin Holland was in no way competitive in that fight. But for the one moment when MVP ripped doing something a little dumb and Holland was gifted top position and hit him for a few minutes, and then he scrambled out and proceeded to continue beating the shit out of Kevin Holland. Here's the thing, people. You cannot like him because he played Bellator. I don't care. I'm not here to tell you need to like MVP. But there are some people that work for this website even, Mike, who are like, oh, it was trash performance. And you know how I know that's not true? Because when have you ever seen Kevin Holland fight someone and shut the fuck up? Because I haven't. That dude is talking to anybody. And I respect the hell out of him because I model myself after that sort of indignant shit talking, even when you're getting your ass handed to you. I want to be that dude, and Kevin Holland is that dude. He will sit there and be like, oh, why are you wrestling me? Get up and strike. You hit like a girl or whatever. And he was, you know what he was doing that fight? Shutting the fuck up and getting hit by right hands. Like, I don't know what else you wanted from MVP other than a flying switch kick knockout. Kevin Holland's real tough, man. This is his UFC debut, and he beat the hell out of him. I thought it was a very good performance given the circumstances. Yes, it was a favorable matchup, but like if you're asking for more than that or calling that a bad performance, which many people are doing, that's just hating. Like there's just no. Is MVP the best welterweight in the world? No. I would say very clearly not. Are there several people in this weight class who will just catch him with a right hand when he leaps in from 10 feet away to throw his own punch? Yeah, there are a couple of dudes who will do it. But you know who isn't one of those? Leon Edwards. Leon Edwards throws 4 punches around. If they make that title, which they honestly could, and it wouldn't be the worst thing ever, particularly because Shavkat got called out by JDM. That fight immediately got people talking. There's probably going to be some build for that, and they hate Bilal. If he just snakes it in there for the return to England and they do Leon versus thing, it's not going to be a huge blowback, and he has a really good chance to win that because Leon will just not do anything for huge stretches of that fight. So, like, I don't know what you guys wanted. I thought that's about as good of a debut performance as he could have, and it just feels like everyone's hating him for various reasons that aren't fair to what he actually did in the cage.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. Kevin Holland's tough son of a he's just tough.
Super tough.
That dude,
it's unbelievably tough.
His chin is unbelievable. He got hit with some thunder. Like MVP was cracking him.
He's another one like Cheeto that really wears damage super well and can make the toughest of shots look pretty insignificant.
You know who stopped Kevin Holland? He has been submitted a few times. He's been knocked out once. It was the Wonder Boy TKO where he wasn't knocked out at the end of 4 rounds of that kind of ass kicking. His corner was a 4th round. It is very possible that the same thing would have happened. They were like, dude, Kevin, your body language is dead. You look sad out there. You're just getting clubbed around like a small child. Like, we're done with this. Like, I don't know what people wanted from MVP other than for him to Hadouken him out of the cage and throw a Pokeball at him. Like, I truly don't know what the expectation was.
Yeah, I thought it was a great performance. I think it's a B plus, A- for me.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything negative to say, to be honest. I don't think there was like some
but
hugely
there were people out there saying
sentiment. It. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I came away just not like overly impressed, right? Like I wasn't like jumping out of my seat like this is the guy, like all of a sudden he came in and is going to change the UFC. But I was also like, yeah, good performance against a guy who's ranked in the UFC and has looked good against good fighters. Like
fun addition to the weight class. Happy to have him here.
Agreed. Kevin Holland's probably like a top 5 welterweight in Bellator right now, so it's a quality win. It's a quality win. So
I mean, this is like either the best or second best win of MVP's career.
Oh, it's up there. It's definitely up there. Yeah. Great win for Jack Della Maddalena. Comes from behind. Needed a finish. Got it in the 3rd round against Gilbert Burns. It looked like Gilbert Burns. I have to go back and rewatch that 3rd round. When you're doing the watch party, you can't watch things super close. But JDM just gets it out, lands the knee from hell, and just eviscerates Gilbert Burns. My one qualm about that fight more than anything, and there's some things I could say about Gilbert's performance and maybe just some of the decision making. I don't know who that referee was, but they wanted to see Gilbert Burns like eviscerated because that was bad. Like that fight could have been stopped after the knee. Yes.
Who was the ref on that? I was just saying, who was the ref on that?
I think he had some fight. I think he had some fight left in him after the knee. To his credit, I mean, God, like that was one of the nastiest shots of the night, and there was a lot tonight. but I do think it went on a little too long. But I wouldn't have
Yeah.
ended it right after the knee. I thought he had enough
I
defense in
know.
there. He was trying to grab him. But some of those were coffin nails after that. And he took a few shots, but I think you know, it aired slightly maybe on the side of too long, but JDM, man, what a knee that was.
Yeah.
Did either of you guys see the scorecards for that? Was he down at
He was
that
down.
point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was down 2018 on 2 of the cards, so he needed to finish.
That's how I had it. I had Burns winning the fight 2018. So yeah, what a performance, especially in that type of scramble, to just have the wherewithal and the presence of mind to land exactly the shot that you need in that moment. Because oftentimes it's not that picture perfect. Real gritty stuff from JDM.
Yeah. And the timing of everything was perfect. My biggest bet of the night was that fight going over 2.5 at plus 137. And boy, we were sniffing some close ones, and we got it.
Then you should be a big fan of Dan Margliotta. Dan helped you hit that over.
What was the actual number? I think we surpassed it before the knee. I know.
Oh,
that.
343. Okay. I thought it was tighter than that. At 343. Yeah, he passed it.
So I was pretty happy about that. I was holding a Gilbert Burns ticket as well, but that wasn't the big one. But the over 2.5 was like by far my biggest bet of the night. It would have been a really tough night had that not hit, but it did. So shout out, great performance from JDM. What a performance from Petr Yan. Snaps the losing streak. Great performance. Song Yadong has proven time and time again that he can hang with the best dudes. He's just a step behind slightly of the Corey Sandhagens and the Petr Yans of the world, but Song's real good. That was a fun-ass fight. That was the perfect main card opener, and Petr Yan back in the win column. You could see about 80 pounds of weight being lifted off of his shoulders after that third round. Good stuff. Curtis Blades gets the big knockout. A lot of other stuff happened tonight, but let's go to the peeps. I'm sure they're going to want to talk about all of it. Macy Barber gets a win. Tuch Gamrot gets a win. Kyler Phillips, great performance against Pedro Munoz. Philippe Lindsay, Ion Cutelaba did a thing called the fight. Michelle Pereira, first round submission. Robelis to Spain.
Mike Gronadel, son.
Rodelis
I love him so much, Mike.
Mr. Death Touch. And Joanne Wood ends her career with a victory. So there you have it.
The thing delivered.
We'll take a few questions from the peeps.
The thing absolutely delivered. They did.
Yeah, it was
great.
great.
What they needed to do that for that one.
All right. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
Of course, super chatters get to cut the line, so keep that in mind.
And we got a super chat from our friend Super Samoan Legal Team.
This guy's always
Love the
coming
name.
through. What a beautiful night, boys. Mike, the timing of the Dustin finish was epic for your bets. Yes, it was. Cashed on JDM, MVP Poirier by KO. Stakes for me and the wife. Nice. Well done.
Yeah, congratulations.
Stakes.
Love that.
Yeah. Way to go, Super Samoan Legal Team.
Mattia, looks like Dustin secured himself a title fight. Justin, Charles, and Armin are all busy. Also, Sean's point fighting is better than Izzy's, in my humble opinion. Master class performance. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely seems like he secured himself a title fight. I think that's subject to change, right? If Justin Gaethje or Max Holloway come out and have a better performance, I think there's a world where they definitely can hop the line. I think it'd be harder for Charles and Armin, but at the same time, I don't think they're out of it. They're going to have to do better than Dustin, though. And they're going to also have to come out of that fight unscathed. They're going to have to not hurt. So, yeah, Dustin's in the driver's seat, but it's Dustin's to lose. And then Sean's point fighting is better than Izzy's. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this.
Wait. Are people saying that was point fighting tonight by Sean O'Malley? Is that the word?
That's my comment. Sean was super not point fighting tonight.
That was not
Izzy
point
has
fighting.
absolutely point fighted in his career. That was super not point fighting from Sean.
That was, I don't know. Yeah, people's definitions of point fighting are odd.
Did you hear the sound of Sean O'Malley's knee hitting Marlon Vera's face? Like, I'm not gonna be able to get that sound out of my head for like a week. That was
when I knew that I was correct and that Marlon Vera can't be killed by man nor God. It's like, oh yeah, he's good. He ducked into a jumping knee and was like, "We're fine, moving on."
Jed, you picked Vera coming into the fight. What was missing from Vera, or or was it just a discipline from O'Malley that kind of surprised you?
I want to give O'Malley the credit primarily because I do think that was the biggest thing. Is if he's going to fight smart, I don't think Vera optimized his chances. He's always a slow starter, but like when I wrote my breakdowns, like it's really key that he try and start faster and that he invest heavily in kicking the legs and working the body. O'Malley has very good head defense in general, and he's just going to move a ton. And if you can slow that movement down and get him to stand in front of you, then that's how you can start landing your shots. And I thought, again, I was pretty clear. I was like, I think this is 50-50. I'm leaning towards Vera because I've never seen Sean fight this way for 25 minutes. And until I see it, I'm just not going to totally believe that it'll happen. Now it has, and I can totally believe that it can happen. But Vera got away from sort of everything, and he did the Vera thing. He did the thing we talked about where he just like didn't do anything for long periods of time in that fight. A lot of that, I do want to give credit to O'Malley for not letting him do it. But, you know, when your coaches are telling you, hey man, like you gotta start picking this up. You gotta like, okay, like stop just shelling up every time he throws at you. Just take it and fire back. Like this isn't working. And he's just not doing the things he's being told to do. He can be a frustrating watch at times, and there were definitely parts of that I think are just built into Cheeto Vera that were not specifically put upon him by O'Malley tonight.
All right, thank you. Guys, super chat from Steven Dawson. $10 super chat. He's making Mike Heck rich.
Wow, let's go.
God.
Love it.
Mike Heck going to Duncan.
I'm never gonna live the end of that. Jesus. Will the rank squatting at 155 stop after tonight? Also, what is Jackie 3 Names' future? Because he still looks like he would get destroyed by high-level wrestlers like Shavkat, which was a dumb call-out. All right, so a lot to break down here. We'll start.
He loaded a lot in this $10, so.
I mean, look, it's worth the $10 there.
Dude,
I mean, you get 3 questions.
I don't
even.
Go ahead,
Please
Jed.
go.
You go.
I was just going to say, Steven, the rank squatting, this was the official end of it. It had been stopped. Gaethje fought back against Fiziev. We started to see it like, yes, technically Chandler's still sitting there, but he doesn't count because he's never going to fight again because he's never going to fight until Conor fights, and Conor's never going to fight again. Oliveira's fighting Sarukian just got to fight whoever the hell he just beat the hell out of. I don't know why I'm blanking. Oh, Dariush. Like they've been
Poirier
turning.
just
155 is past this.
Poirier and Gaethje
Exactly.
were fighting for what we thought was a number 1 contender fight. There is no squatting at lightweight. It hasn't been happening.
Well, there
It's
was.
just not real.
There was squatting.
No, I'm saying
the
not
last
recently.
like year and a half.
That's
the last year and a half.
been over.
It's been good.
What has
It's just that
happened
the
is
old dudes are
Alex-
still hanging.
Yeah, and Volkanovski was sliding into the title shots, so it wasn't resolving itself. But that's what was happening. The contenders at lightweight have been fighting the contenders at lightweight recently. There's not been that kind of logjam that we see at like welterweight, where nobody wants to fight anybody and they're just sitting around.
The old dudes are just winning because they still got game.
Will JDM get
Jackie
destroyed by
3 Names.
Shavkat? Yeah, probably. Like that doesn't seem like a great matchup for JDM. But probably most people will get destroyed by Shavkat. Like
yeah.
I'd still like to see it, like because I think JDM's pretty damn good. And if he can find something like he found tonight, where it did look like, hey, maybe this is a level above, and then it wasn't when he had that moment, it wasn't. So I would like to see it, even if I do believe that Shavkat is going to win that fight. But again, I think Shavkat destroys most of these people, so it's not an indictment.
My favorite thing about JDM tonight is I finally figured out he's just welterweight Poirier. He has got great boxing, and at various points in time, he is doing just freaking next level stuff out there that most dudes aren't, and it's awesome. And then like 4 times a fight, he's gonna do the dumbest thing he possibly can. And he doesn't jump the gillies, but he does try a freaking wizard kick with a full backpack for no goddamn reason that just lets Gilbert move to a backpack. Like it is a couple of times a fight, he's going to make a horrible choice. And it's just like, you're Dustin Poirier, just a welterweight. This is great. We love to have another Dustin Poirier. It's terrific. He's a fun fighter. He'll probably look great against Shavkat for moments, and he'll do something really dumb, and suddenly Shavkat's going to bulldog choke his ass unconscious.
I actually love the call out. I like it.
Call out. I like the call out too, because if you lose, hey, you lost to the guy you were supposed to lose to. If you win, holy moly. So I don't mind it.
Yeah, and, no one's calling that dude out. And if you're going to fight him now. Like, take the shot, see what happens. Yeah, and if you want he's the guy right now. Like, Bilal's probably going to get the title shot, but like, Shavkat's next in line. Like, Shavkat could sit out and wait if he wanted to. But JDM's
but that's the thing.
Giving him a fight. Love it.
That's why this makes so much sense, is because, lightweight is moving, welterweight is not. And you can get Shavkat right now. It's a great call out. This is how you propel yourself into that upper echelon, while we wait for Belal, while we wait for whatever else happens. So yeah, I love it. It seems like in the absence of, like, I don't think Colby Covington is signing up to maybe he would fight. I don't know. I don't know who Colby Covington's going to fight. It doesn't seem like there's really many good options for him, other than Wonder Boy.
Gary fight for him.
You do? I don't like that for him. I mean,
sure, he may not win it, but I think it's like the most high profile fight he can realistically get right now. Because Ian brings attention, and if Colby's ever going to get like back in the good graces of fans in any way, shape, or form, he should probably go ahead and fight Ian Gary right now.
If he takes it, I'd be shocked, but I'm okay with it. But yeah, I mean, either way, I love this call out. Go for it. Try it.
Yep.
And to Casey's point,
it's a good call out.
Fall short, whatever.
Yeah. Here's how it's a good call out. People got interested. People immediately, there was immediately like, oh, hell yeah. Like, you call out Colby, people were just like, all right, call out Colby. It's like, oh, no, hell yeah, that's fun. That's a great call out.
I think we always like when the guys call out the guy no one wants to fight. And even if they don't get that fight.
100%.
Even if they don't get the fight, it just seems pretty cool. I don't know. I think every time you call out the guy no one wants to fight, we're like, yeah. So, yeah.
Yep.
Great call out.
Yep.
All righty. Thank you very much.
Guys, it's 4:30 a.m. Freaking daylight savings time. I can't believe it.
It's 3:30. It's fine.
It's still 1:30. It's still 12:30 where I'm at. Wow. It's still 12:30 where I'm at.
Oh my god, dude!
Your clock doesn't switch until 2 your time. Oh wow, that's crazy. So
you're 4 hours.
You guys, yeah. I'm so.
You're living in the past.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like Back to the Future. Like, my hands starting to disappear. All that. Yeah. All right. Super chat. Kind of a bit of the same question. Bit of the same question before. I think we kind of answered this a little bit.
Thoughts on GDM's trajectory? How's he going to get on against the Rachmanovs and Ian Garys of the world? From Sam Flett. I think he's right up there with all those guys right now. So, I mean, the Shavkat's at a different level right now, but
yeah, I think he'd fare a lot better against Gary than he would against Shavkat. But I mean, those are all great fights. Let's run all of them.
Sure.
And he's 27. Like, he's not even at his prime. Like, he's still going to develop. Now, granted, Gary and Shavkat are both fairly young as well, but he's going to fight for a belt one day.
All right.
Thank you, Sam.
$10 super chat from Steven.
Let's go.
Steven.
I'm just going to put it up. I'm not sure what it means.
Is this the same Steven? Oh, it's different one.
Different Steven.
Boys, I have 3 opinions.
Perfect. Super chat
Steven,
each of them.
I am waiting to hear your opinion, Steven. I am wrapped with attention for your opinion, Steven.
Super chat
Unless
them
the game is
one
we're supposed to guess your opinions.
No. They're coming. He's going to super chat them one by one, and we will address them as they come in. Perfect.
Here, another $10 super chat from our best friend Steven.
Oh,
there he is. Boys, I'm back. New York Rick needs shampoo suggestions. Furthermore,
okay.
How many fights do you think RDA has left? And who?
I guess I'll go first. Been a Head and Shoulders guy since childhood. Like, it's just regular Head and Shoulders for me.
Really?
I wash it nearly every day.
That's
the
rookie.
most I'll go is every other. I will not let it go beyond that. Head and Shoulders, good massaging into the scalp, and then a double. I do a double. We're taking another dollop and we're going back in and doing it twice. So yeah, Head and Shoulders, baby. Shampoo and conditioner all day.
Rick, you are overwashing your hair, my brother.
Listen, it's
You
been
can't
working
wash
for
it
me,
every
all right?
day. Can't wash it every day. You gotta let it breathe a little bit. Condition every day. You gotta
I can't.
wash like
I'm
twice a week.
sweating. I'm sweating. I'm working out. I cannot just let that go. I can't.
I mean, that's what the professionals say. I'm not a hair scientist. I just do what they tell me.
Yeah, I'm bucking the trend. I don't care what they say. Sorry.
Also,
Head
onto
and
the
Shoulders
RDA
once
question.
No, we're
Yes.
not done. We're not done. All right. I know it's 4:30
Like,
in the morning.
what are your
but-
thoughts about the shampoo?
Mike didn't hear. Well,
Oh,
let's go to
me?
RDA.
Mike passed out.
Who, me? Shout out to the
No, I
MMA.
thought
Who, me?
Who me?
I thought Casey was gonna answer. I was waiting on him. I mean, dude, shampoo hits my head every single day. I don't know why, but it does.
My man.
So
Look,
every single day, sometimes twice a day. It's very possible.
it's just
Friday was a
pushing
twice a
away.
day for sure. RDA probably use shampoo as well, probably every day. But New York Rick, after he shampoos and he looks at himself in the mirror and asks himself the question, how many fights do I have left? What do you think he's saying?
I don't think he has like a time frame on it. He strikes me as the type who's really just gonna like go by the feel of it. He doesn't seem like he's in a hurry to stick around or a hurry to leave. I think it'll just be when he runs out of opportunities that get him excited. Like I would think of him like a Paul Felder, right? Like Paul Felder, I think was like, okay, I've done it. I'm gonna step away. If there's something exciting that's gonna get me to really like rev the engine again, I'll take it. Otherwise, like I'm good. So I think RDA's got as many left as he thinks are still gonna excite him, and then steps away because like he's not climbing the rankings in lightweight. He's not climbing the rankings in welterweight. He's kind of going to be stuck in those divisions. And so if a big opportunity comes his way where he can step in on maybe short notice or just get something that, you know, timing wise works out for him, he'll probably take it. But I don't think he's like fighting for belts anymore, nor does he have any legacy things on the line anymore. So as many as he wants is really my answer.
Is he okay with being a stepping stone, basically? Because that's what he's going to be used as in the UFC.
He's kind of been that already, no? Like, do we not feel like RDA's kind of been that to this point at the tail end? He has his record's not been good.
I guess now you kind of move back. Now you're a top 15 stepping stone, a top 10. I don't know. Like, I'm not. I mean, it's just what he wants and how the UFC wants to use him. I'm sure he's not cheap by UFC standards. So.
I don't know that it'll be a stepping stone. He's been around so long and he's still good. Like he had a great fight tonight. Like he lost in the way everyone expected him to. Gamrot is awesome and he's the best bad fighter in the sport. I love him so much.
Yeah.
He's a terrible fighter, but he's so good at the parts that he's good at, and it's incredible. I mean, he's done that a little bit. Like he fought Fiziev, obviously, and gave Fiziev a shot up. But it's also just weird that he's ranked at lightweight because he's ranked at lightweight because he was a champion a decade ago and because he beat Paul Felder in that weird situation when Paul was ranked. And so he's just been kind of hanging on to it for those reasons. It would be better if he just wasn't and can just do fun fights because he's still got a lot of game left, it looks like. And he should be doing the cool fun fights against dudes at 155, 170 catchweight bouts, whatever. Like he should fight Bobby Green at some point because why the hell not? I would love to watch him fight Dustin Poirier. That's not going to happen now, but if Poirier has a title fight and loses, hell yeah, do it then. Like just kind of get to do cool fun fights because I still can compete and like to compete. So I'd bet he's got at least 3 left in him.
Yeah.
Is there any chance he ruins his legacy by kind of staying around too long?
His legacy's not like was the ultimate winner. His legacy is fought the toughest possible strength of competition for his entire career. And I don't think
He's Edson Barbosa with a belt.
Yeah, and I mean, you're even looking at like he's fighting Gamrot right now. Like the strength of competition has never gone down for RDA. That's the legacy. The legacy is game guy who shows up every single time and really isn't diminished, right? Like his skills are not that far diminished. Like he seems pretty decent still, but he's just fighting the upper echelon. He's lost, I think it's 7 of his last 11 because he's fighting really tough guys. There's an easier road to be had for RDA, but he's fighting really tough guys. But yeah, he's not winning. So I don't think he's hanging around to keep winning, fights that may headline an Apex card or an Atlantic City card. So yeah, fun fights and then call it a career. It's been an amazing, incredible career.
I'm just trying to think what are RDA and fun fights. What are they now? I don't know what that.
Jim Miller.
Jim Miller's great. Do it.
After UFC 300, fight Jim Miller.
So you think of vets, but RDA versus vets, you don't want to. Okay, I
don't care about him fighting young dudes.
I guess
I didn't care about this fight.
I'd watch him fight young dudes because again, I think he's competitive in all these fights. Mm-hmm. Like he's not this guy who's like coming in there and getting his doors blown off, but he's also just not winning, right? Like he's not building toward anything. So there's no point to it. Like we don't need him to be in that position.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you much. I got a super chat here from Matija.
Correct yourself. Sean's fighting is what Izzy should be doing with his attributes: long, accurate striking while looking for a finish. Yep, there you go. Agreed.
Sure. I don't have much of a problem with Israel Adesanya's style.
Yeah,
I've largely had one, but I also think that it's the natural evolution of the sport, and I would strongly suspect that you give Sean O'Malley 2 years, and if he's still holding the belt, he's going to look a lot more like that as well. It's just naturally how this fight game works.
All right.
Yep. These guys hand you wins, you take them. Let's see. Shutting up like Holland now. Demolidor looked great. Yes, he did. Jed?
My large adult son, boys and girls. I'm so happy for him. He's done the thing. Me and AK were big Demolidor fans because he kept popping up. When we did Misfits together, he kept popping up. And it felt like every other week we're just like, hey, he did this real weird capoeira shit. He did a backflip into guard that was cool as hell. I was like, this guy's an insane person, and I can't wait for him. He's got to get signed by the UFC. He keeps doing crazy stuff and getting impressive wins. Finally gets in the UFC. The first fight, he does all the cool stuff. It's great. Then he loses to a puffed up featherweight in the worst performance ever because he just gassed himself out with backflips in the first 4 minutes. And then he changed his whole style up. Loses a weird fight to Diego Sanchez because of a DQ. It's super odd. And we're like, oh, maybe it's just not going to happen for him. He's become he's really receded into this boring fighter. And then he finally stops making weight and he bumps up to middleweight. And it's like, oh, this is where he should have been the whole time. Now he's not concerned about blowing his gas tank. He gets to do crazy shit. And I just want to be as clear as I possibly could be. On BTL, Mike, what happened? You said, what's your favorite fight of the thing? I was like, it's the co-main event, obviously. But if I'm giving shine to any other fight, it's not Piotr Jan Song Yadong. It's not Michael Venom Page, Kevin Holland. No one else cares, but it's Michelle Pajeda and Mikhail Oleksiejczuk because those two dudes are crazy people, and it's going to be anarchy incarnate. And let me tell you, for all 4 seconds of that fight, it was everything I ever dreamed of, and it was sick-ass finish. I'm so proud of him. Can't wait to see what Demolidor does at middleweight.
I legit had no idea that he's on a 7-fight win streak.
Dude, he's been doing so well since the Diego DQ.
That's with the Sanchez DQ. Take away the Sanchez DQ. What is it? 2.
No, it's the Tristan Connolly.
He lost
the Tristan Connolly failure was immediately before the Diego Sanchez.
Oh.
No, but truly, it's been such a weird kind of up and down roller coaster ride that I just had no idea that it's been so successful from a wins perspective that the dude is rolling.
30 years old, prime of his life, coming into middleweight. Whew.
Yeah.
And no hooks, rear naked chokes are my absolute favorite. It's
just Hoss choking him.
Yeah, just
disrespectful.
He manhandled him.
I like that. It's just disrespectful. How dare you?
Yeah.
No
awesome.
hooks, rear naked chokes.
Really,
I
really
love
impressive.
Mikhail Oleksiejczuk for what he does in this sport. He is a critical piece to it, and that fight was exactly correct. That was A+ chef's kiss matchmaking, and it delivered. I was so happy.
All right. Super chat from Tomo. $16.99, but New Zealand
Whoa.
dollars. So
What is that?
I have no idea what the
I have no
conversion
idea.
is there.
My catchphrase,
Hi, boys.
that's
Do
all
you
I
think
know.
Dustin will get title shot? And we do GDM versus Shavkat and Burns versus Brady. Also, Song versus Jan. First time listening to your podcast at work. Really appreciate the content.
Thank you.
You like Burns versus Brady? I mean, we've
I hate
touched
that.
on the Dustin title shot.
Not
We touched
really.
on JDM Shavkat. Burns Brady, not a fan.
Not really. No, I think Brady should be fighting like the cream of the crop at welterweight at this point. Like guys like Bilal rematch would be good if Bilal doesn't get a title shot, which it seems like nobody wants to give him. I'd watch Brady versus JDM. I'd watch Brady versus Gary if Gary doesn't ultimately get Colby. Like there's a lot of like those level of matchups that I'd rather see. I don't think we need to do the whole Burns fights every young up and comer guy. Like I think we're okay. He's now lost the one to Hamzat. He's now lost the one to JDM. If you consider Bilal somebody on the rise at the time, he's lost that one too. So like I think we're okay on that now. I don't love that fight.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who to book him against, but
For Burns or
it's
Brady?
weird. Burns, because he does have like a high ranking. He's still going to be like 5 or 6 for the UFC.
Give him Jeff Neal. Let's do Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal already beat the hell out of Vicente Luque. Let's just do that. I'm fine with that.
Yes, that makes some sense.
Guys coming off losses. All right.
I'd really like for them to be more invested in giving people get back fights though, because he's 2 losses in a row. Just let him kill somebody who sucks.
I like Jed's idea too.
He was, by the way, he was also winning this fight. Like, let's not forget that he was beating JDM. So I don't think it's like a situation where we're all trying to like shit on or bury Gilbert Burns, but like, he's in a different phase in his career at this point, and let's just acknowledge that.
It's just these are MMA fights, small gloves, you got knees. It's just a crazy thing. I think
Look,
if they fight 10 times, Gilbert might win 5. It's just that's what we saw tonight.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'd watch the shit out of Gilbert Burns versus Rafael dos Anjos.
Yeah,
Be great.
Fun.
dig it.
Be a great fight.
Dig it.
I mean, it
There
doesn't
you
make
go.
sense.
Look at you,
That's a
Mr.
great
Fun.
fight.
RDA fun fights. That's what we're talking about. Full circle.
Headline
Great fight.
Apex
Be super fun.
106. Let's do it.
No, I know you got to put that on Brazil because at the rate they're going with them putting money
Yeah,
more
you're
on
right.
300,
Yeah, you're
there is
right.
not a Brazilian in the company
There are no
to
Brazilians
fight on
left.
that
Good
card.
call. Good call. You're right.
Just RDA Burns in Brazil. Do that. I don't know, man.
All right.
What was the question about Song versus Jan?
Oh,
Is he just asking like
I
they
think
would
he's trying
like
to
it, or
match
what?
make.
just
No,
yeah,
they just
Probably-
fought.
They can't match make Son versus
Yeah,
Jan.
it's
They
a good
just,
fight.
They just fought.
Yeah, we touched on the fight. It's great. It was a great friggin' fight. It was super
Very good.
fun. Perfect.
Needed-
main
needed
card.
to be 5 rounds.
We actually
but
haven't talked a lot about that, so we probably should, because
Okay.
Piotr Jan, like that was a terrific performance.
I love watching Peter Yan fight. It was just
He's got the deceptively worst recent record that I can think
Yes.
of. Like it
Yes.
just looks real bad on
but
paper.
it's not. It's
But
not.
man, that dude is still really freaking good. Like it just looks horrible.
Like, if
on
he
the-
would have
on
lost
the-
tonight, he'd be
on
like the
ledger.
greatest fighter ever on a 4-fight losing streak or whatever.
by far.
This
by far.
Andrei Arlovsky erasure will not stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Peter
But I
Yan
mean,
is
like-
still a dog, man. He's still a beast.
And so is Song. It's just
Loved
Song's
it.
Just yeah.
It needed to be 5 rounds though. Like I did not want
I
to
would've-
see
I would have
that be
appreciated
3
5
rounds.
rounds, but
I said this on the come up for Piotr Jan, and I think that it is born very true. Once he got past the 3-round phase of his career and was going to be fighting in main events and for the title, I was like, he is a handful because he punts the first round in every fight he ever competes in. He is just not going to win it ever. And in a 3-round fight, that is so dangerous because then your opponent has to win 3 minutes of the rest of the fight. And credit to him, he did not allow Song to win 3 minutes after the first round, but he got to get back to main events because somebody's gonna I would maybe not after this performance, but like I would in general I would have picked Poirier to beat Sean O'Malley in a 5-rounder. Again, after what Sean just did, maybe I feel a little less confident in it. But the reason I thought Sean had a chance to beat him when they were fighting, I was like, Sean can win this because he has to win 7 minutes. And that's like, you just can't punt rounds like that in 3-round fights. It's so difficult.
Oh, we have a correction real quick.
Sorry, I must Song versus Cheeto.
As far as the next
Don't
match.
hate it.
Don't hate it.
I assume Cheeto's getting Jan.
That'd be fun.
Maybe.
It's just fun. Cheeto's still very popular.
Does Jan? I feel like does Jan look further up though? Does Jan go? I don't know
that Jan gets to make that call at this point. He's lost a lot of his. Like, this is a great win, but
Jan went with Jed's idea if O'Malley lost. Figgy Garbrandt winner.
Could do that.
What do you mean?
Dude, Figgy versus... That's what Jan said at the post-fight press. He says timelines line up perfectly. He feels Figgy and Garbrandt are fighting at 300. He gets the winner of that. Figueiredo versus Piotr Jan is the fight we all wanted anyway.
He's just going to
that's quite what
beat
he
the
said.
hell out of whoever that is.
He said they should be lining up to fight him, and he's kind of
is that what he said?
Where he wants to go on a revenge tour. I think he's aiming at
rules.
He's aiming at O'Malley and Dvalishvili, and he's not going to get those fights. So yeah, maybe there is a world where he lands on Garbrandt and Figgy, but I don't know. Like,
you could do Cejudo. Here's the thing: I pulled up the UFC rankings.
Makes sense.
The only dudes in front of him in the UFC rankings are Sean, obviously, Marab, obviously, Aljo. That's not happening. And then Corey Sandhagen, who already beat. I doubt he really wants to fight Corey again. And Cheeto's one behind him. I kind of think they're just going to run Cheeto. You could do Cejudo, but I think they're just going to run Cheeto.
Yeah, it just depends.
Yeah.
Jan's going to be ready to go before Cheeto's ready to go. That's for sure.
I feel like there's a new kind of like path for Jan though. Like, I feel like he was kind of in a bad spot, and now he's kind of come out of that, where it's like, would you not watch Corey again if he was willing to do it? You know what I mean? Like, I think there's options for him where he can stay and float around the top and be one away, which is nice after you just come off a 3-fight losing skid.
Corey has to lose to Umar. That's his destiny.
Yeah, it seems like we're destined for that.
Okie dokie. Got a super chat here from... No, I'll let Mike say his name. I can't figure it out.
Heihachi. Did you see the 350-pound guy in Glory this morning? I did not. Did anyone see the 350-pound guy in Glory this morning?
I did, yes. Heavyweight
I'm absolutely about to look this up.
Heavyweight kickboxers can be quite sloppy. It's not MMA. There's no weight limit on the upper level. So yeah,
there should be no weight limit. Super heavyweight for the win.
Yeah.
Is it a shredded 350 or
no,
is it like
no? It is
okay.
no. It is absolutely not a shredded 350.
Is it a 220 with an extra 100?
Yeah, basically yes.
Yeah.
We're talking short, squatty kind of dudes that have a gut and throw haymakers. You know.
God bless him. Anything?
Glory was sick though. I don't know if anybody saw it. Like, one night tournaments are just amazing.
I saw Verhoeven won.
Yeah, Verhoeven won. Faced some adversity, which I think people were kind of not expecting.
I love this man so much. I love this man so much.
You're
he's the best.
Would you like to describe him? Would you like to let the viewers?
He's
in?
a circle.
Yeah,
he is a circle.
He's a big round man.
Is the best, and he's just out here chucking them, boys. Yeah. He's the man. I mean, he's getting just plunked, but who cares? He's out here chucking them. This is like everyone watches Fight Circus. This is like if Blob Tang actually had mitts on him. This guy rocks.
He's a circle and he's just two little gloves on the ends.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, he chucks those little gloves. He's got a big shield of belly for all these knees that this man is firing into him. He's beating the shit out of this dude. It's awesome.
There was also some truly like in shape athletic competition as well in that tournament. So I encourage you. If you didn't see it, go check
Dude,
out.
Nabil Hachab he's my new largest adult son. He fucking rules.
All right.
Is that SUN or SON?
SON, but it could be either. I mean, he's got some gravity to him.
That's what I was thinking.
This guy is awesome.
All right. Are we good? Are we good talking about this, man?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
5 a.m.
Okay. Another super chat.
Not for Casey.
Do we?
Dude, it's like it's only 10 o'clock here. We're moving.
Oh yeah, your clocks
Turn the clock back over.
It's only Thursday. The fights haven't even started yet. What's going on? What are you guys talking about?
I know.
All right.
This is around when Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou walked to the ring for their fight. You know.
How is no one asked a single question about Despain, however we pronounce Robles' name?
I mean,
that was on.
Guy's awesome too. This guy's super
nailed
fun.
it. 18 seconds. It's because it's too long of a fight. He's used to only having like 5-second fights.
I'm just a huge supporter of Josh Parisian's plan of I'm gonna run at this dude with my chin up and my hands down. That can't go wrong.
That was like
what the fans wanted. He knew what he wanted.
That was the wish.com version of Stipe versus Verdum when Verdum was running.
It was just so while it was happening, I wanted to yell. It was like, no, Josh, don't
do that. That is literally the worst thing you could do. Just run at this man.
Blasted.
Okay. Steven, I did not miss your super chat, by the way. Sorry. We got some super chats from Steven. I got to throw him up there because
we got to get his opinions. He has 3 of them.
Why do you hide your guns? I see him popping out the screens. Were you happier when there were no thirst for 2 titles? Yeah, I think our stance on 2 titles has been made perfectly clear. Stay in your damn division and run up wins.
Blame it on the UFC.
Yeah.
Blame it on the UFC. Wait, on the 2 title thing, okay. I really think the reason the 2 title things work so much in the UFC is because the UFC doesn't give out. It's my conspiracy theory. The UFC doesn't give out a belt for every championship. So like DJ, when he had those like 9 title defenses, he only had like 1 belt. But then he got that 1 photo of all the belts, and it looks freaking awesome. But now they just give out, a little ruby, so you can win 10 times in a row or whatever, 5 times in a row. You have the same belt of more like little red rubies. That doesn't look cool. The only way to get extra belts is by, moving up or moving down, and it just looks cooler in photos. So I think if they gave belts, like if Sean O'Malley had another belt tonight and he walked around with 2 belts, hey, I got 2 defenses, I got 2 belts. I don't know, maybe we wouldn't be this crazy for this because it's just the image. I don't know.
I like the thought process behind this, and completely disagree, and just don't think anybody's thinking about the photo op that much.
Dude,
because
I've been to so many.
Johnson
we've been to so many freaking boxing events, and the shot of them carrying like 40 belts up there always looks super cool. And
but Demetrius Johnson wasn't in the cage holding 9 belts. That was one photo op that he did in his house because he had 9 belts. He's in the cage with the 1 belt. It's always the 1 belt.
I know, but the photo op on the poster every time. Just saying, it looks cooler.
I mean, they can just ask the UFC to let me borrow 9 belts and to let me take a picture of 9 belts, and they'll probably let him take a picture of 9 belts.
You think so?
They broke the seal with Conor McGregor.
They could just buy a belt for $40 or whatever it is on the website.
Or you do that too.
They broke the seal with Conor McGregor, and they can't put the genie back in the bottle. That's all it is. The genie is never going back, and that's
People like belts. The BMF belt. It's only cool because there's a belt. I'm just saying,
dude.
I
have no issue with people trying to make history. I have no issue with people trying to make history and go fight for a second belt. But the reason most of these fighters do it, it's the prize fighter. I understand that. It's the prize fighter mentality where if I go up and take this chance, if I win, I win a second belt. But if I lose, I still get to fall back on this other title belt. What you do is you take that away from them, and then it's cooler. You take that option away.
You have to vacate. You have to
You
vacate
gotta
before you
vacate
go
to
up.
go up. You want to go win a second belt in the second division, you vacate your other belt. There is no fallback plan. If this is what you want to do, this is how it works. We put your belt is vacated, top 2 dudes fight for it. You lose, you got to work your way back up if you're going to go back down to the weight class. That's it. That fixes the problems in my eyes. Like
Absolutely.
all the talk about Islam going up to 170, vacate 155, go to 170. I don't give a shit, but vacate the other belt.
I love that as a fan of the sport, but the UFC's the contrivance, the thing that the UFC is always trying to achieve is for the little man to win the second belt. So it defeats that. Like that's always what the point is. The point is always for the smaller person to win so that they can have 2 titles.
And the shot of 2 belts. They want the shot.
And the shot of 2 belts. Yes. The
What's
2
the difference
belts,
from
but
like
not
John
10
Jones
belts.
winning the heavyweight title? Became a champ in 2 different
If
divisions.
John Jones was the light
any
heavyweight
less?
champion,
At the same time.
if John was the light heavyweight champion and heavyweight champion at the same time, it would be more significant. Yes.
John won the heavyweight title.
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Rumor has it. All right, we're gonna fly.
From what I hear, you're not a champion until you defend your belt. So,
dude. What was up with Rogan
He's
tonight?
hurt.
The whole like, you're not a champion until you defend your belt. I don't believe that, but I'm gonna say it anyway. And it was so weird. Like that's how you started off. I'm like, all right, good job, Rogan.
Also, Sean O'Malley doesn't strike me as the type who feels like I'm not a champion until I've defended my belt. Of anybody.
I respected.
He does not.
Again, I thought it was totally wrong, but I absolutely respected his post-fight presser who was like, I don't need the belt. I am bigger than the belt. I'll fight dudes at 142. I don't care. It's like, that's a good mentality. Respect that.
As long as they get paid that belt money, though. I respect that.
I will say, as much as I loved, you mentioned Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan delivered gold tonight during the main event.
When he got Anik.
Oh, man.
Immediately started it.
I love Anik too. I love Anik so much, but man, Rogan got him. It was
what happened? I might have missed it. I might have.
So John was like, Marlon Vera is a tough dude, but he's never been in there with the sniper like Sean O'Malley. And then Joe Rogan's like, yeah, he has. And John was like, oh yeah, when he fought Corey Sandhagen or whoever, he goes, yeah, and Sean O'Malley. Because they fought before. Yeah. It was just so freaking good. And Rogan's
just
timing
kept guessing for a minute, and then Rogan was like, and this.
Sean O'Malley.
And DC,
had to be like,
was just waiting. DC was just waiting in the wings for Joe to say it so that he could laugh at it, which is great.
Man. Really good.
That was a clear brain fart, and Anik was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know what all right."
I got nothing. And it's like, yeah, my bad. That's funny. Yeah, I didn't hear that part in the broadcast. That's funny. Sorry, I'm going to fly. We got a bunch of Steven ones. I'm just going to fly through these real quick.
Yeah, let's go, Steven. I love you, Steven.
Real quick. We got you, Steven. Don't worry. We got you.
We got you. Mike, have a sleep. You're the best. You deserve it. I'm going to get some sleep. But it ain't gonna be a lot because I'm gonna be back here in 5 hours doing another show with Jed. So,
and last one from Steven.
Thank you, Steven. Just want to apologize, boys. I had a big day. My apologies if I was rude. You were not rude.
No, we love you dearly. This is what we're here to do.
Yes, Steven. You just paid Mike Heck's mortgage this month, so appreciate that.
Oh fuck.
And congrats on your big day. If it's related to this UFC, congrats. If it's not related to this UFC, congrats. We love that you had a big day.
All right, and just a couple more super chats from Skanab. $9.99.
Think 300 can top that? Sure can.
Yeah, I do.
It definitely can.
It can, but I mean, it's not a given.
Nope.
That was a great night of fights. On paper, I still maintain 300 is better on paper, but that was a great night of fights. Like we'll see if they can deliver to that. I would guess that they will, but we'll see.
It's definitely in play. The fights are just so good. It's definitely in play.
Man, but this is a fun conversation to even debate. So that we're in a good spot.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. If we're
the
thinking
opening fight is Davison Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. A fight I have wanted for literal years is the first fight on the card, 2 former champions.
They just
I know
added
New York
Turner
will-
and Moicano too. It's just like it just
We're
continues.
useless. It's still the dumbest fight. They just let Moicano
No,
fight in Brazil.
that's great.
Let
I
him
love
fight
that.
in Brazil. Come on.
I love that. Oh yeah, fair enough. Good point. Okay, touche.
There are no Brazilians fighting on the Brazilian pay-per-view.
They're
Yeah.
just MMA fans.
I
They
don't
need to see
love.
Brazilian
I know
fighters.
New York Rick loves card placement chatter. It's his favorite topic. But I gotta tell you, Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage on the main card just doesn't do it for me. I'm sorry.
It was
I'm
so
sorry.
weird seeing all those names and then Cody Brundage.
One of these does not
I get
belong.
it, but I don't. I just don't. It doesn't need to happen. But
It makes a ton of sense because Cody Brundage is falling in a long line of people who don't deserve to be in places, but they're there to give people over. Do you remember when Enrique Marin like famously fought Sage Northcutt at UFC 200?
But where
On
on
the
the card
prelims.
though? On the
It
prelims.
was the prelims, but still, it's fine.
it was like
they're
the
just-
early prelims,
Yeah.
No, it was the mid prelims. They gave Sage,
or it was
middle
like the
section.
first fight of the mid prelims.
That might
Or
have been
something of that
correct.
nature. Yeah, it was early in the card.
All right. So our last super chat.
What about when John Jones fought Jake O'Brien at UFC 100? I just pulled 100 up. Every card's got to have a worst fighter on it. Cody just happens to be the 2 Codys are the worst fighters on 3.
Oh God!
Whoa! Wow!
Oh, wow. Oh,
Wow!
wow.
Yeah.
Shots.
Jeez.
Spot the lie. Spot the lie.
Wow.
All right, let's go to the last one.
Well, actually, I lied. A couple more super chats came in. So hold on.
We're just flying through these.
Yeah,
We gotta go. We gotta go.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
you
sorry.
guys keep super chatting, we'll be here all night. I just want to be clear about
No, we will not be here all night. I can tell you that right now. MMA is life. Thank you.
Thank
You
It
guys
is.
rule.
that. It is.
MMA is life. It is our life, and our lives are better because of you. How about the champ keeps the belt, but if he loses when going up, he has to vacate the current belt, but not if they win. If they win, they can keep both.
It's the same
That's
type
like the
of gamble
worst
at that
outcome.
point. Then
That's fine. As
Yeah.
long as they lose the
Yeah.
other belt, if they lose, then fine. I'm okay with it.
Take the photo.
Here's the
and then
reason you
strip the
can't.
belt. Strip him. Take the photo.
But
and
they
then
don't
rid
get
of
to fight for the belt. But they also don't get to fight for the belt right away at the other weight class.
That's the most critical part because if they do,
Yeah.
then they'll just be like, "I'll vacate, I lose, I'll go back, now I get to fight for a title again," and so it's dumb. It's just hard to enforce. The actual answer is the UFC just needs to be judicious and appropriate with allowing champ fights.
Well, that's not gonna happen.
They did it for 30 years prior to Connor or 25 or whatever. Just go back to that system where they have them, but they're very rare. They're meaningful. They are totally deserving. It's great.
So tell the UFC to
They
make
can't-
less money.
I truly do not believe they make more money from the champ fights.
I agree with that, but that's because they've been mostly unsuccessful. I think if they were more successful, then it would be a different conversation. But the little men have
Could
not
be
been
right.
winning. Yeah.
But it's I mean, to one extent, I guess you'll be more successful the more bullets you shoot. But also, you're just probably
the
gonna
mentality.
you're probably going to be less successful if you're just running every brand new ass champion up who's not like, oh, they're actually really good. It's just like, again, Sean O'Malley had a tremendous performance tonight. Sean O'Malley had a fairly fraudulent path to the belt and could suck. He doesn't. He just has proved clearly that he doesn't. But like, he could have just sucked and he got there. Connor kind of did, but he just sort of high rolled and spiked his lightweight title shot in a good matchup. Like it's. Let dudes defend, and then you're like, oh, yeah, that guy's really good. Alexander Volkanovski is very good at fist fighting, and he almost beat Islam. He did not. I want to be super clear about that, but, like, he had a chance to.
All right, and real quick.
Jaden Burns is a bit of a late stoppage. You think? Yeah, we touched on that. It was a little late. I mean, it's not
That's fine.
egregious. We've seen way worse, but Burns took a lot of unnecessary damage, in my opinion. But it's fine. It's not the worst by any stretch of the imagination.
I didn't. I thought it was fine, but
It's fine. It was
and
maybe
this
a
is-
punch too late, but it was okay.
Yeah, this is a bit of a two-parter, but this is the first part.
Yes.
We
Okay.
will, Alejandro.
Alejandro?
We will.
And this is the question, I assume.
Agree or not, Sean becomes a superstar, beating Ilya, but doesn't gain respect from everyone. Or disagree, Sean fights Marab, and if he wins, becomes a superstar, and then gains the respect from everyone.
Don't agree.
Deeply disagree with the first part
Yeah.
of that. I agree that if he fights Sean, if he fights and beats Marab, he will elevate his stardom. I think Marab is over with the fans. They already have a built-in thing. Like I think that that's a sellable good fight that the UFC wants, and that will in fact. Oh, he like legitimately, because even if this is a great performance, and you know it's a good performance because we're not talking about this part of it, an absolute narrative coming into this fight was Cheeto doesn't deserve this, and so that's not with Marab. It's like, hey, he absolutely beat the top contender. He gets over more. But if they give him Ilya and he beats Ilya, super do not believe that would happen. But if it did, Ilya is an enormous star. Could not be more over. Maybe it might not be possible for him to be more over than he is. If he goes up and beats him, particularly with the way people love champs, even though I give that a lot less credence than others do, he's a bigger star if he beats Ilya than if he beats Marab.
For sure.
This is based on a faulty premise, which is that like these one fights do it. And it's why they continue to go back to the well on these champ fights, because they think it will be one fight that does it. It just doesn't work. It's not one fight. Conor McGregor, the lesson that people should have learned from Conor McGregor isn't, oh, he beat Eddie Alvarez to become the biggest star in the world and then box Floyd Mayweather. It was that he called his shot every single time, talked the best shit in the sport, and just kept rolling sevens and just kept rolling 7 after 7 after 7 after 7. It's not going to happen in one time. Beating Ilya Poirier would be great, but it's still not going to do it. So like these are not that different in my opinion. Certainly I believe beating Ilya will be more. That is the better option, but it's just not how it works. And the UFC will continue to chase it, but it's not how it works.
The only one that works for is beating Conor. Conor gets you to stardom.
Fair. Yep.
But like,
good call.
But he's not going to do that. But like, I mean, that's Dustin.
It's wearing off a little bit. Nate is the best example. Then Dustin, I feel like it was good, but it wasn't as good as Nate. And now I feel like it might even be more diminished. So we'll see.
It's a copy of a copy. That could be true.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Stardom is the culmination of your achievements, not something that happens because you beat a dude.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting. I mean, you'll never know. Like, how would it be stardom be if the Conor fight didn't happen? If it was just, he just won all the time. I don't know. It'd be
still big, but nothing near what he's at.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
Cool. And the very last thing is just a comment, leaving a little positivity.
You guys are awesome. 4 a.m. Eastern. It's actually 5 a.m. Eastern.
It's actually
Turn the clocks ahead, brother.
Turn
the clocks ahead.
It is 1:00 a.m.
Casey went back to the afternoon.
Yeah.
Casey, Casey, just wait. It's coming for you, Casey.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
What happened? Lies.
And you're gonna go live, and you're gonna answer all the questions, all of them.
Shouts to Jose Youngs, who is in Miami, and who has spent the last 15 years of his life in Arizona, where there's no such thing as daylight savings time. And when Eric, I think it was you who posted in the Slack, was like, "Clocks changed," he was like, "Fuck." It's the first time I've had to do this in 15 years. This is bullshit.
I just can't believe he's not been at like an event when this happened before, because he's been on the road for so long.
It is surprising.
I was surprised.
It had to be an East Coast event too.
Yeah, it would have had to be East Coast, which changes it because it's always more obviously toward Cali and Vegas. But yeah, shout out to Jose.
That was my favorite part of the whole evening. Jose realizing that he no longer lives in Arizona.
Yeah.
All right, hit the music, Casey. We out. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it,
Mike. Thank you for doing this, because I can see what's happening here. So thank you.
I have no voice. That's really the whole thing. I gotta try to salvage some sort of voice for tomorrow morning with
you and Jed.
That's all it is.
Reunion.
Mike, you're fine.
Steven
contributed to the Duncan Fund. You just wake up, get yourself a little Duncan. You're ready to go. We're gonna on to the next one. The hell out of this fight card.
I'm very excited. It'll be a good time. So we'll see you at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Oh, thank you, Go Flamingo. You fools be tripping. Islam Volk was one of the best fights of the last 5 years. We want to see the best fight the best. O'Malley and Poirier are generational talents, biggest events against each other.
Nobody's arguing that champ versus champ fights can't be good. The argument is like, are they necessary and deserved, as opposed to fighting your next contender. That is
just listen to Jed talk about Volk versus Islam 2. Latest example.
Also, do you
Could have
guys
been better.
remember? You picked a good fight. Do you remember when Israel fought Jan? We're all like, hell yeah, what a sick ass fight that was.
Good night.
Good
I got receipts too, brother. Good night. Love y'all.
Happy birthday, AK. Happy birthday.